basically until I graduated high school, trying to figure out what we wanted to do with my life. So I was a mechanic for 9 years, and that was pretty interesting, but I learned that that's not what I wanted to do. I, shouldn't be 9 years into an industry and starting to develop arthritis, and just mentally it took a toll, and it just wasn't for me. Me and my wife had always joked around about how we wanted to get into food trucking after, eating at so many of them. We thought it was cool.
Oh, so you guys were kind of enjoying going around to them.
We were trying them out, and I started, while I was a mechanic working at the dealership I was at, a lot of people were smokers as hobbyists, and I was also part of a car club, and I was always the guy cooking for our car meet.
That's how you start a campfire in Carter County.
Freaking awesome.
You're watching Pellet Cooker University with Fast Eddy. Light 'em up.
Want to welcome everyone back to Pellet Cooker University. Today, we're going to get into pizza, pellet-fired pizza, actually. And we have Tyler Wells, the operator of 451 Pizza here, and we're going to dig into his life and find out what it's like to be a food trucker in the Kansas City, Missouri market. And also, I'm the guy that drags a few people into town to go work with this man on that rig, which is always kind of interesting, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I'm always learning from people that have so much experience in this industry.
Well, yeah, we've had real experienced people come on board, and we've had those that have no experience come on board. So it's been hugely interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, you see a wide variety of people that are just getting into the industry and people who are wanting to expand on what they already have.
Right. It amazes me. I think we're at about 100% batting average when somebody comes to Kansas City to work on the rig with you, and they end up going home and getting into the pizza business.
Well, good. I mean, when you can only make so many pies on a mobile unit, and you can see how many we can put out, and it's competitive with what brick and mortar pizzerias are doing. Why wouldn't you?
Well, and the simplicity of it. You're doing it in a 16-foot platform.
Yes.
How many square feet? So it's 8 foot wide, 16 feet long. I mean, people, you do the math and how many square feet we're working in. Now, we do have a storage place.
Yeah.
And in the storage place, we have a couple of freezers and a big stand-up fridge because you're cold proof. And go through a day with us. Well, let's do a little history thing first.
Yeah.
And how we ended up meeting.
Okay.
And just kind of, we'll go down that rabbit hole for a little bit and your background. And you were an auto mechanic.
Yeah. So let's see. I started working when I was 16 years old, on my 16th birthday. Started at a bowling alley, worked in their kitchen, and then I did food until I graduated high school, trying to figure out what we wanted to do with my life. So I was a mechanic for 9 years, and that was pretty interesting, but I learned that that's not what I wanted to do. I, shouldn't be 9 years into an industry and starting to develop arthritis.
Oh, God.
And just mentally it took a toll, and it just wasn't for me. And me and my wife had always joked around about how we wanted to get into food trucking after, eating at so many of them. We thought it was cool.
Oh, so you guys were kind of enjoying going around to them.
Yeah, so we were trying them out, and I started, while I was a mechanic working at the dealership I was at, a lot of people were smokers as hobbyists. I was also part of a car club, and I was always the guy cooking for our car meets, and I was really enjoying it.
Wow.
So when I was trying to get out of the industry, my boss at the last shop I worked at, we were talking. He was like, well, let me talk to my buddy that has a barbecue truck and ask him what his life's like. So he told me what their ROI was and stuff like that. They gave me an idea of this is something you can actually do for a living. So I got back into the food industry, and I ended up getting on with a corporate-owned food truck business, and we were traveling all around, and I already had my restaurant management experience, and so it was really just getting used to a new lifestyle. Other than that, it was easy for me. As a food trucker, it doesn't matter if you're working for somebody else or you're doing your own thing.
Well, are we talking about On the Hook?
Yeah.
Okay, let's bleed down into what On the Hook did. Okay. I think it's one of the most unique concepts out there, and those are $1 million trucks.
Yeah, so they probably own over 20 trucks now. They've started going.
Well, they started franchising.
Yeah, they started franchising. At our location, our district, we had 2 trucks, and each one was $1 million truck. And when I say $1 million, that means they brought in that many dollars a year. And so our average ticket count each day was 660 tickets. And how they do that is they send these trucks all out to to small towns throughout whatever your district is. So ours was Missouri, Kansas, and then it got into Arkansas and Oklahoma eventually. And they just send us out to these places, done a lot of advertising for.
Social media advertising.
Social media advertising primarily. Every now and then, like, we would drive into a place and you'd see on a billboard that, like, we were coming into town.
Oh, really?
Like a digital billboard.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes you'd even see us, like, in the newspaper. So it just depended on how they had to reach out to their customers in that area, whether the town was really small or a bigger place just farther away. Gosh. So we would oftenly be on overnight trips traveling to other towns, and we would load this truck up and we would go to, like, for 3 days worth of work. So
okay, let's explain what the truck did. It only did two things.
We literally just did fish and chip.
This was what the amazing thing to me was.
Yeah.
You can only buy two things on this truck.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't buy a drink.
No.
And you can buy just chips, which are fries.
So I think things have changed now.
Okay.
But yes,
back then, though.
Yeah, and this was over 4 years ago for me. And yeah, so their stuff tasted great. If you're into fish and chips, like, they had it nailed. They had the recipe nailed. And that was part of what kept people coming back. It's funny because their name is On the Hook, but because of not being so regularly accessible, they really did get their customers on the hook.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't wear a place out.
No.
They were an oddity coming in, and people really, I love the way that things marketed, the way it's done. I mean, they're here in Gladstone about once every 3 weeks.
Yeah, they probably set up at the hardware store down there.
Yeah, the hardware store right down the street here from where we're at today.
Yeah, a lot of memories still there.
And then also they go over on Berry Road, which isn't, gosh, that's not 3 miles from here.
No.
Probably, but they hit that, once every 3 weeks or so. I mean, now, did they have the boats? It's cod. Okay, it's cod and chips.
Yeah, so it's wild Alaskan cod, and it's funny because a lot of people don't believe it. It is wild cod. So the owner, his dad owns the leaderships that go out and they fish for these. It's all line caught, if I remember correctly. And it's like flash froze there on the boat. When they dock, they go into trucks, and they don't go to warehouses. They go straight to the commissary kitchens for these businesses. So it's as fresh as it gets, and then it's cut and prepared there like that week.
Right.
A lot of people don't believe that, but I mean, being behind the scenes, you see it all. It's legit.
Right. And then now you batter it on the truck, though.
Yeah. So they have like their own batter recipe. They make a lot of their stuff in house. So they have their own dry batter recipe, and literally you mix it with beer, and that's how you do the beer batter. And gosh, if I remember right, I got really fast at making fish. They wanted you to do like 3 servings per like basket, and I could get it down to 9 servings per basket.
Wow.
And I got pretty good at it. My team had to tell me to slow down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the fries couldn't keep up with how fast I was preparing fish.
So fish only thing this truck had was fryers.
Yes. Yeah. Just fryers.
Now, what were you frying in? Were you frying in oil, or were you guys frying in?
Yeah, it was oil.
Okay.
It was canola oil.
Okay. So that was the main thing you had to deal with, was the hot oil.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then with going on trips, like, we had to service the oil while like on trips. So we had to have containers that we could like store the old oil into and then bring back. It was quite the setup they had going on there. And the people working it, you either hate it or love it. Like, are you a food trucker or not? So we became like a family. I spent more time with these guys than I did with my own family.
Oh, yeah. Sound like fire department almost.
So, yeah, I mean, when you work 80 hours in 5 days,
Ooh, yeah. Now,
you're with them a lot.
And there was 3 of you on the truck, wasn't there?
There was 3 of us. They tried doing 4. We told them that was a waste of labor, so that we squashed that bug pretty quick. Plus, we didn't want to split. That job was gratuity based, basically, and we didn't want to keep splitting that more and more.
Right. So it was base salary plus splits of gratuity.
Yeah. So it could be different now because it's been, I've been out of their business for so long, but we were paid $6 an hour. I don't even know how that works out, but because of how much we were making in tips, we were still bringing home like between tips and overtime, we were still bringing home like $2,000 a week as employees.
That was pretty legit. I mean, but you were gone 5 days.
Yeah, we were gone 5 days a week, and they were pretty hard on their employees. Like, if you
anyway, you're staying in hotels.
Yes, stay in hotels. We had to share rooms. I actually ended up paying for my own hotel room almost every single time because I just needed a break from these guys.
Right.
And I mean, the one time I didn't,
the 3 to a room sucks.
Yeah, the one time I didn't, oh my gosh, these 2 guys, their snoring could overpower a train.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So I always paid for my own room.
I can see that. I understand that well, because of the bunk rooms at the fire stations.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day, there's endless stories about the tricks to learn into sleeping in a bunk room at a fire station.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Of course, once I got tenure and I've been at the same station, it had a lot to do with tenure in the station too, because there were some rooms at the station that guys had built into their small offices.
Okay.
And once you were at a station for a while, you could work your way way into getting one of those, which I had, so it really made a huge difference.
I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this. That guys spent so much time together that even the smaller amounts of times that you were there, it feels like you knew them for a lifetime.
Well, yeah, you get to know their everything. You get to know too much.
Oh yeah. I worked with these guys for less than a year. Technically, it was like 11 months, but I worked for these guys for like less than a year. Gosh, the memories, the stories, literally, we reminisce every time we hang out. Most of us still talk.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So
anybody still working for them?
The one that still works for them, he actually started he ended up buying into the franchise.
Oh, really?
And he has his franchise out in Washington.
Oh, really? So he's still with them, and he's got a truck. And
yep. Yeah.
Wow. Because that's a pretty pricey deal buying one of those trucks.
It definitely is. So I know a lot about his family, so I'm not surprised that it's something that they got into. I find it more interesting. He fell in love with that much.
Wow.
Because he came from nursing and he hated that. But when he got into it, he hadn't really had any food experience. Mm-hmm. He just saw what they're paying on Indeed, and we're like, okay, I'll try this. And I'm definitely one of the guys I'll mess with the new guys. Mm-hmm. And I had this guy pouring beer through a sift, telling him to get all the air out of it. And I did it for like a week, and then one day he's like, "All right, man, I gotta ask, is this really doing anything?" And we all just started laughing. And I was like, "Man, I can't believe it took you this long to be like, this guy's fucking with me."
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's truly fire station humor. Uh-huh. I got news for you.
And so, and now he owns his own franchise. And so I hope one day I get to go meet his staff and be like, "Do you know this dude used to pour beer through a sift? Did he teach you guys that at all?" So,
did he teach you that one? Took him a week to wake up. Man, that's pretty good.
So yeah, he's the only one that's still with the business from what I know. A lot of them, they grew into new career fields. And I mean, one of them, he's my right hand, Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say that. My wife is my right hand. But this guy, he's been helping us out for about 3 years now, almost 3 years. Mm-hmm. I call him my assistant because he's been on the truck more than any other person besides my wife. So I can always count on him to make sure that I've got somebody. So
that's great. You always got to have that go-to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm impressed because I've seen you, have to go to an event and end up by yourself.
Oh, yeah, it happens. And I've got enough experience now. I've got to give credit to the product that you invented as well, because this would not happen if I was working with like a dome-style oven or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. An automated oven, everything. I mean, that's the equipment. The equipment's what makes this work.
Yes, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And that's why 451 had to exist, because it had to prove the concept. I mean, you tell people this, you can get on the internet and tell people this, and nobody's going to believe you.
No, they need to come and they need to experience it.
Once they experience it, it's an oh my God experience.
And we have customers that they have pizza experience and they watch it. And I mean, here's an example. There was a day that I did have to work by myself at a winery, and I had a guy come up the other night and he's like, "I saw you hustling these last 2 hours. How many pies did you make?" I made 47 in 2 hours by myself.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of. I don't.
Now, you didn't just make pies yourself. You took the orders and got them out.
Yeah, so I take the orders
you ran a business by yourself.
Yeah, we don't do par baked crust. We stretch the dough ourselves.
Right.
We take a lot of pride in our ingredients being quality. So yeah, and then preparing the food, cooking it, boxing it up, cutting it, taking all the orders, everything.
And the interaction time with the customer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is hustling.
Yeah.
Well, you went to Transport Brewery one night. Now, we got into the automated ordering, which
helps a lot.
That helped a ton.
Yeah, that probably cut I think in that night, I was there for 4 hours. I made 72 pies.
And with the automated, I'm talking about it's Square is what we use. And they put a QR code on the table.
Yeah.
And
makes it really easy. They just go, they order through our website using the QR code, and it prints out on our point of sale system, and then it gives them a time when to come pick it up. And it's that when you're in a position where you have to work alone, if that is an option for you, you need to be utilizing it.
Absolutely.
So, people talk about what you can do to cut down on labor. That's an option.
Right. Yeah. But man, 72 pies by yourself at a brewery. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, that was impressive. I'm going, holy shit.
Every night we close up, we clean everything top to bottom. That night, after working by myself, and it was snowing outside too.
Oh, yeah.
And,
that's right.
And
then you had to drive home in the snow with the trailer.
I was like, you know what? And so I remember there was a bridge even on the highway. We got sideways on that night. I just parked the truck and I was like, dude, we can clean tomorrow.
I think I'm going to go take care of the nerves.
Yeah, for real. So, but yeah, these, you probably tell your customers that these ovens, these double stacks can do like 30 pies an hour, maybe more than that.
Yeah, well, I say between 30 and 35, depends on how organized you are.
I would say 35. Like if you're good and organized, 35 is about spot on. If you're wanting to play around with them, we have done 40 pies in an hour. So you got to crank it up a little bit, but you've got to have 3 people on the, or you've got to have someone that actually can be attentive to the oven if you're going to mess with the settings like that.
Right.
But man, these things are awesome. You can make some stuff happen with them.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it's people say, oh, that's just a double stack oven. And I said, yeah, but, wood fired pies are normally hotter cooked.
Yeah.
And we're running, normally we're running around 710 is where we're running on them. So this, and people just don't believe this.
No,
they absolutely. And now when they come and work with you, the guy that came from Talladega, Alabama, was the craziest one that I was involved.
If I can remember him right, there's been quite a few.
Him and his wife came and they drove like straight through.
Oh, okay, I think I remember.
They redid an old camping trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you follow him on social media or not, but they got a nice little business going. He's got a single oven, is what he has. He's wrote cookbooks, and I don't know if you remember that or not. He was a chef and wrote cookbooks. And
was this the couple that
we came
met with you guys at Transport?
Yes, came and met me at Transport Brewery. Yeah. And I think they're probably, I thought between 60 and 70 years old, And then he told me he's getting into an old camping trailer, and I'm thinking, oh my God, those things, they're a disaster because they're not really built for any extra weight, to stick in them.
Right. And your head clearance too. I think about that.
Well, yeah. The nice thing about that oven, though, you don't really need much of a head clearance, and he only has a single, so he's got a tabletop, basically. Okay. But build a nice little following. Now, I don't know how he did it. I don't know if whether he, you can apply for it, but, Tony Giminani, who's the guy supposed to be like one of the gods of pizza, he did a little spot for him. Okay, cool. On his social media. I'm going, how the hell did he get Tony? Tony hasn't even looked at one of my ovens. I would love to get Tony. Hey, Tony, if you're out there, dude, check us out, will you? But yeah, these ovens, I'm going to look right in the camera and tell you this. This pizza is worse than barbecue ever was about trying to get people to look at this pellet fired thing.
I'd 100% believe it. There are people in a lot of industries that they're purists, and I'm sure that there's so many. I mean, I've experienced talking to people in the truck. There are people that they believe, you're going to laugh at this because I know you've experienced in barbecue, that you can only do wood fire however the old school way with logs. Right. And
they don't understand mini sticks.
Maintaining these and
mini
like
logs, mini sticks.
Mm-hmm. Well, have fun cleaning up your pile of ash every single night.
Loading them damn things.
Yes.
Moving them around. Finding the guy to get you consistency in those things and storing it.
Yeah, you've got to have somebody you have to have someone to maintain that fire the whole entire time. Make sure it doesn't go out. To make sure that it's heat spreading correctly.
Well, and then there's so many variances. Oh, well, the deck's not hot enough. Well, then move your whole fire over there for 4 or 5 minutes and scoop it all back, and then brush it off, and then go ahead and make pies where you had the fire, so you got the deck temperature back up. Yeah. I mean, your cook has to learn all this stuff.
These pizziolas, these pizzerias, they need someone to maintain their ovens. They need someone to be there operating them at all times as a regular operation. I need somebody to be operating my ovens at all times because I'm serving 120 people an hour.
Right. Yeah.
That's different.
That's a whole different deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a guy making sure pie's going in and out,
Exactly.
Is what you got going. That guy's, he's tried to spin the pies, cooking the pies, maintaining the fires, and just going bonsai. And, well, another thing, too, a lot of them are cooking little bitty pies, too.
Yeah.
They're not trying to cook a bigger one. I mean, we're running 14 inches, and which helps a ton because, when you got busy, you're on the slice deal, But, so let's kind of roll back a little bit. And your day, setting up the trailer or the week, getting ready for the week, like you did that yesterday or today, getting ready for this weekend.
I try to only work on days that I'm working, but sometimes it doesn't pan out that way. So I do inventory. I'll go pick up all of our product and stuff from Rush Restaurant Depot, and our dough comes from Farm to Market. And we've got a cold proofing system. So I go and I pick up all of our inventory and stuff between driving around, going through the stores, waiting at loading docks, all that stuff. That's probably 4 hours right there. We prep our own cheese. That's something we take a lot of pride in. I would say on average, we go through 100 to 115 pounds a week in cheese and mozzarella. So, we shred all of our own cheese. I'll fire up the smoker while that stuff's going on, and I'll start smoking our sausage, our chicken. We probably only go through like 10, 12 pounds of chicken a week. We go through 20 to 30 pounds of sausage a week.
Then it all gets cut and chopped and stuff.
So we process all that.
Toppings,
we process all that stuff. So like even on a day where I'm doing inventory and food prep, when I finish all that up, then I get to catch up with emails, and if the sun's not down, voicemails, stuff like that. And so even those days are like 12 to 16 hour days. So, and then it's not uncommon that I've still got to do more food prep throughout the week before an event. Days where I work double events, those are easily 16 to 18 hour days.
Yeah. Because it takes you an hour to get to work.
Yeah, it takes me an hour to get to where we store the truck.
Yeah.
Then usually it's 30 minutes to an hour to wherever the first event is. I try to be tactical about timing in between the first event and the second event, because there's a process to turning the ovens off safely. I mean, you're working with fire. You can't just drive down the road with this thing blazing.
Right. You can't keep it running.
So there's a process to closing those down, and it's not crazy. You literally just turn it down and watch your pellet feed. It'll eventually
go off,
start to put the fire out, and
make sure it's not burning on the end of the auger.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No, that you experience that. It only takes you one time to experience that.
Yeah, right. Well, it's crazy too.
Smokes everything up.
You learn a lot about the science, like fire science. Working with them, you learn a lot about airflow, especially being in a mobile unit. There are variables throughout the year and every day that are different, and these are pretty cool ovens to work with. But it's not like they're not airtight. Like
right, and you got to have makeup air. You can't
exactly.
You can't just button the thing up.
No,
you got to have air come into the unit in order for it to burn.
I'd recommend anybody who wants to build one of these build a mobile unit and put these on their truck. They have a good airflow throughout the truck.
Yeah.
Set your windows up accordingly, and it's going to make it to where operating the machine is more predictable.
Yeah.
But also, you've got to regulate heat on a truck. Like even with an AC unit, like, you want air moving around all inside there anyways.
Well, and another thing too, we're now having season switch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and getting their dough warm enough to stretch it.
So
it's if you start getting 60-degree days, you got to start running heat. Even though you got these ovens, you got to start having heat on the truck.
During the summertime, I like to have about 48 hours of cold proof time on my dough. During the wintertime, I need like a minimum of 72 hours cold proof, and then I've got to still pull them out. It depends on what the temperature inside the unit is, but during the summertime, it can be like 30 minutes to an hour beforehand. During the wintertime, like 3 to 4 hours beforehand.
Right.
But that's because I'm working in a mobile unit. So anybody who wants to have a mobile pizzeria, you've got to really know how dough works and to be more predictable about it.
Now, you're doing a New York style pie, though. You're not doing a Neapolitan.
No, yeah. So it's New York style. So it's thinner.
But also too, a lot of those Neapolitan pies, those people will make the dough in the morning, and it never gets refrigerated.
No, so
it's a whole complete different type of pie.
And that's cool if that's your concept. But
I'm not a fan of that spongy pizza necessarily. To me, it's too spongy.
At this point, I don't know what I'm a fan of because I rarely get to try pizza that I like anymore. So working with you guys has really turned me into a critic, which I hate. I hate when critics come to the truck and they're like, "I'm from New York." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you and like the other 10 people I've talked to today." So I'm sure you get this in the barbecue industry, but there are pizza snobs.
Oh, absolutely. It's a much bigger food group than barbecue.
Yeah.
Pizza is.
Sure. I can understand that. Yeah, I would definitely say so too. But yeah, so
now, I don't think don't think 451's lacking on people liking it, though.
No, definitely not. I wish that you and Ed and Craig Jones, these guys are the two owners of 451 Pizza, and they brought me into this business 4 years ago. I wish that you guys could see the feedback we get every single day, though, because you guys would be like, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea the people that come up to the window are like, dude, that was awesome pie. Or like, what gets me is when the people that tote about being from New York, when they come up and they're like, that's the best pizza that I've had in Missouri. Or that's the best pizza I've had in the Midwest.
Yeah. And
sometimes I'll even get, that's the best pizza I've had in my life, and I'm from New York.
That really gets your head big, when you start hearing that, Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're the man. I mean, you're there. Tell everybody the story about the call. Did I call you or did Craig call you?
So actually, you guys had talked to another food truck owner about running this, and he had talked about me. And we had met through just working in the Kansas City food scene together.
Was that the big red food truck guys?
Yeah, it was Clayton.
Yeah.
I can't remember his last name. Sorry, Clayton. So he reaches out to me. He goes, hey, you guys, I see what you're doing for On the Hook, and you're not quite into this space yet where you can own your own truck. I got something you might be interested in. So I don't remember who called who first. I think he gave me your contact info, or maybe you reached out to me. That doesn't matter. So actually, you guys hadn't really had a good experience with an operator the first year owning this.
Well, yeah, I think we had 7 before you walked in.
That's a lot of people in 1 year.
Yeah, or well, actually, maybe been longer than a year.
I guess it would have been like a year, like 3/4 a year.
I
started with you guys in August of 2021.
Okay, so it opened in October of 19 is when the trailer was done, and we did a very small handful of things trying to figure it out. Craig and I, and if you wanted to be around a couple of stooges at that time, you should have been.
That's why I want you guys to come work with me on the truck one day. I just want to see what it's like to work with you guys.
I mean to tell you.
What does that cost?
You'll have to get Craig to agree to it.
I just want you to run your own ovens and Craig to make his own pizza.
Well, that's kind of what we were doing, okay? But, then Craig wouldn't put enough semolina on it to get it to come off the damn peel.
I hear this every now and then.
Yeah, because he doesn't want it to, it changes the pie because of you're burning it.
It can, but if you're the guy, if you're managing, if you do have to manage the ovens or whatever, then just clean it more often.
Well, here's the thing,
clean the stove more often.
If you don't make it right away and then stick it in the oven and if the oven's not ready, he's got 1 or 2 on a peel. Now it's getting ready to stick.
You need more semolina for that.
Exactly.
You come on the truck and you watch me have 3 peels loaded up, and both the ovens are full.
And I can't get the thing off the peel. Okay, and I'm yelling at him because it's like the Stooges, here that we're arguing back and forth, and I'll go bump it against the makeup table there, and I say, it won't come off. We got to use some more. Well, it'll burn. Well, we need to either make it right and get it in there, or if you're going to leave it set here, I don't know how we're going to get the thing off. I mean, these arguments are going on, and then we dragged Gay along to work the window.
Oh,
okay, which was Craig's wife, and she's just a saint, you know. So anyway, we got this back and forth going on. It was pretty interesting, and of course, then we'd get some people, and we're trying to train them.
Yeah.
And oh God.
So when you had reached out to me, we had our meeting, and what I'm about to say is no fault of the business. It's not having the right people. And so you guys presented me with numbers, and it was like less than what I was getting paid. Like your guys' sales. I was not impressed.
Well, after we got done talking to you,
yeah,
when you came down and met with us and left, and I looked at Craig and said, well, that didn't go anywhere. That's exactly what. And he shook his head. He goes, "Yeah, you're right." And then you called the next week.
Yeah. So it's funny because I went to work and I talked with some of the guys about it, and then the guy who actually started his own franchise, he was like, "Well, if you don't do it, I'll do it." And I was like, "Just stay in your lane, bud.
Stay in your lane."
And so I just had one of these days. I remember we were working at a body shop in Bonner Springs, serving there. And I just had one of those days. Like, I was just so sick of that company's BS. And I was like, hey, you guys can do your own thing for the next hour. I'm going to go step off the truck. And that's when I called you. And I was like, you know what, let's
meet again.
Let's take this risk. Let's see how this goes, because you got to take risks to see the rewards.
Well, there's no doubt. You got to step out of your comfort zone.
I was not seeing my family as much as I wanted to. You guys gave me the opportunity to work however I wanted to.
Right. You're an independent you are a true independent contractor, you
Yes.
know, and I mean, if you follow the rules of the government, you know, and we do, so you call the shots, you talk to the people.
I buy all the inventory to sell. You know, it's my labor on top of that.
Right.
And so you guys hired me as a contractor, and you guys taught me how to make pizza. And it was interesting learning the difference in how Kansas City's food truck network works. I'm going to say that because I feel like it's different in every major city.
Oh, I think it is. I think every community, it's a total different thing. And if I'm looking at, you know, a new person out here that's going to get into this, you definitely want to jump into that community and become part of that community, but also you have to understand the community recommends each other of the good trucks.
So we work together, and I cannot explain how important networking is.
Yes.
In Kansas City as a food truck owner, as a food truck business, not just for getting bookings, but also building up, you've got to build up your network. We have these trucks that we work with, and if we somehow double book, I know I can trust to reach out to our network of food trucks and be like, hey, here's what I have. Can anybody cover it? Because I trust those trucks to take care of our clientele.
Right. Because your reputation's on the line. You want to keep those people as customers down the road, maybe for next year or whatever. If it's just a year only thing. But
and if not, then I've helped somebody else in our network get a new customer.
Right.
And if there's ever a time that for some reason that were to happen, and it's not somebody who's in our network, but the opportunity is still there for somebody else in Kansas City to take it, I have no problem as long as I don't think negatively about them. I have no problem passing on their info and just, forewarning them. I don't know this truck's experience, but they want the opportunity to work with you.
Right. But when you've got a customer and you know how the people are going to be treated and stuff, it's best. That's why trucks do group up.
Yes.
They also want to be around good working trucks. You don't want to go and somebody can't hold their weight, because if somebody can only run 6 or 8 customers an hour and then all of a sudden you're over here running 50.
My group of guys, all of our trucks, we can serve 100 people an hour.
Yeah.
And that's like our standard. And when I first started, I think we were comfortable being able to do like 70 and then 80. And I was told by somebody, to do this client, you got to do 100 people an hour. And so I brainstormed how I could, like right there on the spot. And I said, okay, tell them we can do 100 people an hour. And so we made it happen, and that changed everything.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because I'm to the point now where new food truckers, when they see what we do, they ask me for advice. And that's something I tell them, how close are you to serving 100 people an hour? And if they're close enough in that ballpark, then kind of wing out, try and kind of figure out what you need to do to change that. But just tell them you can do 100 people an hour, because you'll figure it out.
But you also, that's a lofty goal for when you're telling somebody you got to be able to put food out at every 40 seconds?
I can't do the math on it anymore, but
people do the math. Okay. There's 60 seconds to a minute, and 60 minutes to the hour. So you figure out how many people that you got to run. You got to be able to put their service out per hour. Is key. It's key in the food trucking business. And you're doing it with fresh, hot pizza.
Oh, yeah.
You're not doing it with frozen pizza. You're just putting toppings on, and you're putting it out. I'll never forget when you said the guys for who handles Bartle Hall?
Aramark.
Aramark. They were out of food inside.
Yeah, they were out of pizza inside. That was a crazy weekend, and that was a testimony to what we can do. That day, we served 799 tickets, and not every one of those tickets had one slice. So some of them had as many as like 7 slices.
Right.
In one day, 799 tickets.
And those guys came out, and they were going up and down the line of the food trucks, and they couldn't believe you were stretching every pie.
That was the day that was the day that you came up and you saw our line going past 4 other food trucks down the aisle.
I did. Yeah. And I was shooting shooting video of that too.
We were moving. So like we didn't have a wait time by the time the ticket got down to where it needed to be dished up. Literally your wait time was just your place in line. It wasn't even like, okay, your ticket's up here and like we got to wait another like 3 minutes. Like we had stuff done constantly all day.
Right. Oh, it was crazy. I mean, gosh, I'm here, and we're doing this with a double stack oven, people. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a knack. I mean, and if you had two of them things.
Oh yeah, my team, we can move, and like I've got enough staff that like there's no reason why if we had the opportunity to do that event again, that if we had a unit big enough to have 4 ovens instead of 2, mm-hmm. that gosh, I can't even fathom what we'd be capable of. I don't think anybody's done it.
Right. I mean, it's what you've learned how to do with what you have it really fills the need in the Kansas City market.
Oh yeah, and we max out that trailer. It's funny because you go into like these pizza buffets and you see all the pizzas down the line. When we get into an event like that, pizzas are lining the shelves. They're on tables. And like I listen to what I hear at the window, and that gives me an idea of like how much of each variety I need to be making. Uh-huh. And we just keep it stacked. And that's what fed into like wedding catering is one of our biggest things.
I was just getting ready to ask you about the, going into the wedding catering. Mm-hmm. So when Tyler talks to a lot of wedding people, okay, and what are you up to? You do 150 to 170 people?
No, we do like the most I've done now is 325.
Oh, you've done 3? Okay.
Yeah, like I would say 150 is our average.
Average, yeah.
But it's not uncommon that like I think I have like 2 weddings already booked for next year that have 275 people on them.
Right. So yeah, that's.
I just tell them for every 100 people you have, I need an hour of serve time.
There you go. Yeah. And that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't tell you folks, this is the knowledge this guy's got, and this, and you got one of the smallest units out there.
It's not big, and it's
no. I mean, these other guys coming in their trucks,
yeah.
and their trailers, and they're big and take up a whole lot more space than you.
Yeah, it's funny because I see a lot of these trucks, and I see how many people they need on them to operate.
Oh yeah,
daily we only need 2 people, but for like the big stuff, we had 3 people.
Right. And actually you kind of work in circles on the trailer. You don't really cross paths.
No, it's an assembly line.
Yeah. How the trailer's designed and set up is you don't move, your movement's very minimal.
The tickets just move. The tickets themselves are the only things that move from one side of the trailer to the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have people at 3 different stations.
Yeah, I've got 2 ticket rails in here. Order comes in, it's on a ticket. The customer gets a ticket number for his order, and then it goes to the front rail. Mm-hmm. And then when you go to make the pie, it goes to your rail. Then when pie goes in the oven, it goes to the other side of the back rail. And then so you know where all these orders are in process.
Yep.
And it just flies, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does, yeah. Like I said, 35 pizzas an hour. If somebody who didn't have the mindset you did put that truck together, it would have taken them some playing around to be able to be that efficient.
Oh my God. I can't. It blows my mind when I'm talking to these folks and looking at what these dome ovens, and they got to cross paths to get to the oven, and how slow it is. This is why they go out of business. There's literally nobody else actively in the pizza business in Kansas City mobily well.
There's like one guy that like I understand he has like a good product, but like he's not doing catering. He's not going to like these large events. I think I've seen him down on First Fridays before.
You can't run the number.
No.
You got to run the number is what you have to do. If you can't run the number, you can't be in the business is the thing. And I really don't believe these folks understand what the number is.
No, they don't. And it's funny because with pizza, you're not selling a product for one person either. So like our sales are about 3/4, sometimes some days even half of what other food trucks are doing. But the guest count I would say is the same, but the ticket count is basically cut in half because we're serving pizza for 2.
Right.
And
it's the best value on the block.
Yeah.
For food.
It definitely, our clients that book us for catering and stuff, they're getting a better deal with us than they are with other food concepts as well too.
Yes, 100%. Wow, this is. Let's take a break here a second and get our minds around what have we missed here. I mean, we got pretty deep.
I mean, Yeah, it's easy to get sidetracked. So you were asking me how we got into working together, and
Yeah, let's jump back.
Yeah.
You know, when we come back, let's take a little break.
Cool.
And we'll roll it back, to start in again.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to reel things back a little bit here. Go into my previous people that been trying the trailer out. And what a struggle it was using a trailer instead of a truck, because finding somebody to be able to tow a trailer and drive a trailer is not as easy as somebody can just get into a truck.
I had zero experience driving a trailer before doing this, but I was a diesel technician, not like semis. I worked for a GMC dealership, and that building was actually made for Volvos. And then, so we were used to driving big vehicles in a space way too small, and like learning the tricks to knowing what your surroundings were.
Using your surroundings, your mirrors.
Yes.
Those kinds of things.
So I'm not surprised that you had problems with people towing before you met me. I caught on to it pretty fast. I take a lot of pride in knowing that I've been doing this for 4 years, and I have not ran that trailer into anything.
Yes, it's been fantastic not getting it all dinged up. It's amazing it didn't get before you.
I've always wondered if it has or not.
No, it has.
I didn't see any more signs that it
had. I mean, I guess I'm a pretty decent teacher for some of them.
Yeah.
I had a couple of them that just literally, they had zero idea. And then I know about what time they'd come back, and I'd sit there and watch the cameras as they come into Food Truck Central and then try to back it back into the stall. And I'm going, it's like, got away with that one.
I have my days where I'm like, I feel like I look like I haven't driven a truck and trailer in my life. Usually it's the first day of the work week for me, but
well, especially blindsiding.
Yeah.
Learning that blindside thing, it always helps, especially if you got somebody else spotting. But you get to the events before your help does many a time.
Yeah, I would say like 90% of the time I do. I have an idea of the size of my trailer. So like as far as blind spots and stuff go when backing and turning and stuff like that, I kind of just imagine.
Yeah.
And
that's what you have to do. You have to picture it.
Yeah. There's been one time when I was leaving an event, and thank God nothing happened. I was doing that, and I had to make so many different turns backing this out of this weird parking lot because I can only back up out of it. There were so many vehicles there. I had to have been like within an inch, maybe a half an inch of a Ford Raptor.
Oh, God.
And whenever I got out of there, my wife she was like, that was pretty impressive. And I was like, yeah, I had no idea I was that close to that vehicle. And she goes, oh, I thought you just knew what you were doing.
Well, you faked it real well.
Yeah. But
that's one of the toughest things you're going to find out with the trailer world. When you're going mobile food is who driving it, and then of course you got more room, to get into. I would say the Kansas City market is
I think it's more trailers than it is step vans.
Probably more trailers and step vans here because we are such a more of an open city compared to like a Chicago or Dallas or something. But when you keep that in mind, I do like trailers better because every inch makes a difference, and the trailers are wider than a truck, and that extra couple inches, like in the aisle, shows up.
Yeah, it definitely does.
The equipment's elevated over the fenders. You're a big guy, so it really helps you. Now, your wife, does she stand on the walking board that we got in there?
No, my wife's 5'9".
Okay,
I think she's 5'9".
There is a walking board there underneath the makeup table, so I think Gay has to use it. She's so short.
I think I remember seeing that when we first started, and I feel like at some point I told you guys just to take it off.
Oh, okay.
I know I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Okay, well, I had a walking board there, so yeah, it's getting because you can store a lot more stuff underneath there too. I know, like cases of soda and things like that.
Yeah, that's generally what goes under there. That maybe some extension cords. We have a footstool that we use for when the trailer needs to be elevated.
Yeah.
So
anyway, that's when you're deciding what type of mobile unit you want. Just keep in mind there is an issue to somebody driving a trailer. Now, the big thing about trailers, though, if the truck breaks down,
that's the biggest pro.
You've seen that happen.
Yeah, the biggest pro is if your truck breaks down, it's not hard to go to a rental place and get a truck to replace it for the day.
Right.
That's the saving grace of having a trailer. And we've experienced it. The first big event that I knew that I needed a replacement because we had an issue. We were catering for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I got vehicles swapped out with you that morning.
Right.
That's not a luxury that you have with a step van. The luxuries that you have with box truck step vans is when people think about food trucks, that's what they picture. So it's easier for you to do events with people that are poor at coordinating events. And then if you get into the business where you need to expand to having multiple trucks, there's not much training into teaching someone how to drive one of those. And those are the two pros to me of doing that over a trailer. And if you are going to be the main person on your vehicle, on your mobile unit every day, then I would start with a step van. And then if you decide to expand and you want to do a box truck in the future, then that's a personal preference.
Right. It's a lot cheaper in a trailer, especially if you're using the truck as your personal driver, to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. If you've already got a truck that you drive every day and it's equipped to pull the size trailer you got, then, go ahead. If not, then get ready to drop another $40,000 to $70,000 on a truck to pull it.
Right. We're very fortunate that's one of the things when I was thinking, I was trying to get this thing to fit in a 20-foot spot. And there was just no way with that generator that I needed to use. So we're 21 feet without opening up the rear window is the thing. So my goal was trying to size down for space when we put this whole thing together. But we are right at the max of what a half-ton pickup will tow.
Yeah.
I mean, we're using a half-ton, to tow with, but we're right at the limit of it. So if you guys are thinking about getting into the food truck business or food, trailer business, you're really going to need to be in a 3/4 ton or heavier.
Especially
pickup.
if you're not very comfortable driving.
Right.
A 3/4 ton is going to make it almost feel effortless, whereas a half ton, you'll have your days, your white knuckle in that steering wheel.
Right. Well, especially if you had the suspension, we just changed the suspension under the trailer. Oh, yeah. It made it a whole bunch better.
Oh yeah.
So, but now going back into the wedding thing, the catering side of pizza is the wonderful part.
When I first started doing this, I hated it. And it's because I was just used to how simple it was just to make a whole pie and the labor of having two people on a truck. And we weren't moving pretty good back then, but we were not even comparable to how my team is now. And my wife is just as fast as I am. Actually, she's faster than I am. I would say my wife's better at all around at this than I am. And you guys are pretty, you see how well I do everything. So I give her kudos for everything that she does for this business. I mean, me and her have done 150 people catering events before, just me and her. And, but yeah, when we got into the wedding and catering side of it, I didn't like it at first. It was definitely a learning experience for us as a business. And I don't think that a lot of pizzerias are going to have that experience either.
Right.
But it's definitely something that works. And now it's our favorite thing. We get this truck loaded up with 3 people and we have no problem serving large groups of people, large crowds. And it's our favorite thing to do. When we work with businesses to cater for their businesses for lunch or whatever special events they have going on, we have no problem serving their crowd sizing like that in a timely manner. And this setup is really built to be able to handle that very well.
Right. Well, I'm terribly glad to hear that, obviously.
It's not what you guys had in mind when you built it.
No, all I knew was efficiency.
And that fed into it.
Yeah, but you also, until you can get built up to where that crowd is there, you don't know how well your efficiency is.
No.
It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to build this giant pit, cook all this meat, but when you I got to put 750 pounds of meat in this thing to keep testing, and that's an investment, a hell of an investment anymore.
It's a lot of meat.
Yeah, it is. What are you going to do with it all?
What's the cheapest thing I can test with?
Pork. That's what it is. Matter of fact, I was just talking to Stuart. He had to run the 750 that I'm getting coming to town, the new one, and things can happen testing. Okay, and it happened last night because he left and forgot to flip one switch on. It didn't rotate.
Oh.
He only had 550 pounds of butts on. So, some got more done, then the others had to cook a little longer.
Some were overdone. Some
no. I mean, butts are pretty forgiving.
Okay,
but he had to move things around and then have rotating and testing a whole bunch of them and checking and kind of, it was not as simple as when I show up in the morning, it should be done. And it was, yeah, part of it was, part of it wasn't. Welcome to the testing world.
You guys tell me about some of the stuff you guys go through. So, getting UL certifications on these ovens a few years ago. Running for 24 hours. That you guys had to do?
Well, it was 8 hours. They had to run. So we have EPA 202 testing on the PZ 400 and 420, and what that means is we don't make grease-laden vapors. So we're able to direct vent the oven like a stove, and we are not, by NFPA, we're not liable to have to put it under fire suppression or underneath the hood. Okay. And now that doesn't mean codes all have to ride with what the UL says.
Yeah, it'll be different from state to state,
county to county. Everybody kind of calls their own shots. But if you have that documentation that from that UL Laboratories that says, I do not make grease-laden vapors, and how the test goes, you got to make pepperoni pizzas as fast as you can put in and out of that oven for 8 hours.
Okay.
And you have to put as many pepperonis on that pizza as it'll possibly fit, too. And it's got to be completely done. You can't just say, I'm going to run this for a little bit. No, you got to cook that pizza to a pie to a complete done state.
They want you to try and create a lot of grease.
Right. And I'm going to say the reason why we don't make it, the big part of it is, too, that it's got a door on it. And that door helps keep, that ventilation from coming out into the trailer. So your own the allowance for it is so small that I'm pretty sure it probably wouldn't make it without having a door on it. Okay. And that's why when I'm looking at these Gosney ovens, and even though they're gas, they're making grease-laden vapors, people. I mean, they don't have any kind of UL certification on those ovens. It's great to watch this guy over in England. He's got 2 of those things on his little truck, and he makes a little pie here or a pie there. He's not doing 100 people an hour.
No,
I can promise you that. You've seen him. You know what I'm talking about.
He's not. I would agree with the door thing because these other pizza ovens, they're using way more resources than we are to create the kind of heat that we are.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not designed in a convection way. So these ovens, is this correct in saying that they use a convection process to heat the bottom of the stone?
Well, yeah, they're using, most wood-fired ovens are all reflective heat from the dome, okay? And I went about it designed like a deck oven, okay? Because I wanted to heat the stone, and then with the convective airflow and the flow also that we use kind of like in our smoker ovens, I said, I can get the top of it done without a problem, because I can trap the heat is what I can do.
It's doing it correctly. The amount of times I've gone to pizzerias and you get a pie and it's done until you look at the bottom and it's not.
Right, yeah. Well, they're cooking on deck ovens. Well, they've gone back into the same spot. Those deck ovens, you'll see it. You go into a pizzerias and they'll have like 4 deck ovens. Well, what they got to do is they may use 2 of those deck ovens, and then after about an hour, they need to be over on the other 2 because they got to let those decks come back to temperature is what they need to do. So they need to switch from ovens to ovens is what they've got to do. I like them or not. It's just what I grew up on. Pizza shop, and their head pizza shop is right here by where I was living for 20 plus years. And I got to know the owner in there, and he got to talking to him how he's working his ovens, and he was telling me how they got a cycle from here to their ovens. Every hour they need to switch ship or which ovens they're going to run on. So look at the footprint. Look at that footprint.
Yeah, it's funny you say that too because we don't have that issue. If anything, it would be comparable when we're putting out that 35 to 40 pies an hour. When that door's open a whole bunch, it doesn't hurt to turn the heat up a little bit more so they can adjust for itself in the next few minutes.
Sure,
but
yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Those pellets and the airflow and the convection that's in that oven. I call it a wood-fired turbo chef.
So you get the flavor and stuff from the wood pellets, but this is the commercial equivalent to an easy bake oven.
Oh yeah,
you just set it and forget it. Is that what they say?
Yeah,
that's what we do.
That's what we do. It's as convenient as a chain oven. Okay, without all the issues.
Yeah.
The chain oven. Somebody's got to set the pie on the oven on the chain, and then somebody's got to come over and take the pie off the chain. Well, you're doing the same thing.
These still take up less real estate than those do.
Oh, yeah.
And something that I just now learned from you when looking at this pizzeria, this brick and mortar, is
the power.
The power. Each, those double stacks, you need 2 50-amp plugins, one for each unit on their double stacks.
Yeah, they're pulling 100 amps.
We can run this thing in someone's freaking front room.
I can run it on I can run it on a battery.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't require that much power.
No, it only pulls 100 watts
if you
at the most.
It's the same thing as a desktop computer.
Yeah, that's it. It's under 100 watts, per oven.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And we're burning at 700 degrees. We're averaging 2 pounds of pellets an hour is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do the math.
This thing's super efficient.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And you're not got these big propane bottles.
No, you don't need all these gas lines.
And you don't need all this space to throw all that wood on.
No. And then
you
on
don't
top
need
of that,
10 cans to have all that ash dumped into.
That's the other thing, too. We have a very small ash vac, and I clean the ovens once a week.
Right.
It doesn't create a whole bunch of ash.
No, you do it once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big
It's
pro.
crazy, people. I just don't get it. I mean, and how to get snubbed in the pizza world.
Just trying something new.
Well, it's because it's so new and so different. And, Gosney, it was Gosney, it was Uni. Back in the day, way back in the day, came out with a little tin box that had the tube where you put pellets in it, and they were burning pellets, and it's just a wild burn is all it was. And then they're putting this pie in there, and that you got these people are pulling these pies in and out, spinning them around. They're burning the shit out of everything, and, oh man, I got this, and finally they really tuned back on, they weren't moving very well. And that's when they put a gas hookup in them so it could get a decent burn.
Yeah.
Is what they did, and otherwise they couldn't get their business to thrive at all. But we have a backyard oven, the PZ016.
Yeah.
Okay, the natural draft one, and it works almost as good as the commercial.
Yeah, when you guys were playing around with it that one day outside the truck, you guys were still cooking them not too far off time wise.
No, because I was running that. I can adjust the damper on it and pretty well get that temp, and it moves quite a bit of air through there because of the burner too. So it's really it's awful close. But for at home,
yeah, you can impress your friends if you're having a party, a good sized party.
Oh yeah, and that thing will have a 2-hour burn time on a 6 pound. That hopper holds 6 pounds of pellets, and it give you about a 2-hour burn time. But you got to kind of adjust with it, watch it, and if it starts to, and then fire starts to die down, we have what we call a boost, where you pull this rod and shakes the fire pot, is what it does, and puts new pellets in there. You'll see it jump, and then you have to go adjust the flue. Is what it doesn't take long for it to jump, and when you start seeing it jump, then you go and slide. You'll learn how much you want to slide that flue, and you can dial it right back in really quick. And I cooked a bunch of pies up the Carnivore Carnival. I was in Platte City a couple weeks ago for a fella, Matt Frampton. He owns the Urban Slicer out of Omaha. He does a pizza kit. And Matt had 2 Halos there, and I brought in my 016. We cooked 90% of the pies on the 016. But I was sitting there, making sure, and I was cooking the pies for him, and it got windy, okay? And it wasn't a big deal on the 016,
nice.
Because it's mostly insulated. Too. And of course, it's got a door on it. It has to have a door on it in order to keep the flue, the draft in it. Is why you have to cook with the door, shut on the thing. And he goes, wow. He goes, this isn't really affecting you at all, is it? He goes, these Halos it's just awful. I said, yeah, you're right. Those door open pizzas, it was blowing 20, 25 mile an hour. The wind was up there, So, well, cool. What would you, from not being in food service and from another career and jumping into things, what is some of the top things you would tell somebody to think about getting into the mobile food unit? I'm not talking about just pizza. I'm just talking about mobile food, saying, I can't tell you how many people at a trade show going, I'm getting ready to retire. I'm going to get me a restaurant. I'm going to get me a food truck. I'm going to do this. And I'm just shaking my head going, you
definitely got to be prepared for the lifestyle, and you've got to have a support team. I give so much credibility to my wife for being my support on this. I would not be doing it without her. Anybody, if you're getting into this, you need a support team. Yeah, you're not going to do this by yourself.
Right.
If you do, you're really capping yourself. So you need a support team. You've got to have the passion for it too. And if you don't, you're going to get yourself burnt out, and it's going to be just like another job.
Would you say by going to On the Hook and the experience you got there really prepared you for understanding what you needed to do to make money in this business? I'm
kind of a different situation. So for me, it was more so just seeing how diverse the food trucking world is. That's what it was eye-opening to me. And learning about what kind of resources you need. We learned a little bit about that with what we had available. For me, On the Hook was a step back in labor for me. Being a mechanic for 9 years, my body was just done. And I was already doing that 55 sometimes 60 hours a week. So for me, it was different, which is, I'm going to say there's a lot of people that get into food trucking and they can't handle the hours. And I don't think that's specifically to food trucking. That's has
to do with the lifestyle.
Yeah. And then when you add in factors like the weather and stuff like that, that's another thing. I was a mechanic. We have to deal with the weather all the time.
Right.
When you add in those kinds of factors, a lot of people can't hang. That's the other thing. Like you have to be prepared. You have to have the mindset to be prepared for any situation. Everything from backup parts, being able to work year round. It's a learning experience for a lot of people.
And there's seasons to it.
Yes.
You know,
we're in the Midwest. There's seasons to it.
Well, even in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they can't be out there in 120, 130 degree weather and burning up in those trucks.
No.
I don't care how much air conditioning they put in them. It's not going to happen. And
you
then,
can only do it for so long.
And there's not going to be any crowds out there. They're hibernating is what those people are doing at that time.
Yeah. No. You've got to.
And same way down in Florida.
You have to be a diverse person to be able to be a food trucker.
Right.
It's not for everybody.
No.
And that's why we see a turnover rate within 2 years of owning a truck.
Well, I would say in Kansas City, the turnover from when I had Food Truck Central, I would say the turnover rate was about every 3 years. Okay. I would see somebody get into the business and struggle. They'd finally get their second year where kind of get it sort of ironed out. And then by the time they hit their third year and they're not seeing any kind of growth out of their second year and they're going, I can't do this. I got to make more money, you know.
Exactly.
And so they're selling out and they're gone and they're not fighting the battles through all the problems, you know, and then buying a piece of junk, starting with something really used and junky, you know, that they don't know what they're looking
just
at.
Spending time doing repairs instead of spending time learning how to run your business.
If you're doing repairs, you're losing money.
Yeah, no. On that note, to either buy something new or if you have the ability to build your own thing, then do it because then you know the insides and out of your appliance. Those are two totally different things.
Right.
Something else, getting into the food trucking world, and I said this already on this podcast, but networking. Like, don't stop talking to people. Just get to know everyone, explain your business and what you can offer to people, and then same thing from what they can offer back to you. I would say the biggest testament to that I've seen is our friends over at Irvzill's Hawaiian Grill. Irv does not shut up. Anyone who works with him will say the same exact thing. Everyone who works in his environments, they'll say the same thing. That dude, he calls people like throughout the week just to catch up with them, see what they can do business-wise with each other. And I'll ask him, like, you know, how'd you get this deal? I don't even know why I ask that question anymore. He doesn't stop talking to people. So networking, like that is going to help your business so much. And when I first met him, we were less than a year into working together. And now look at him now. He's got multiple mobile units and he's got his own brick and mortar setup going on. That wouldn't have been possible without networking.
Right. And chasing customers and where can I get to work? And he's been doing some of the big build outs, the Meta and all those kinds of things.
And it's paid out. It's worked for him very well. People don't realize that with
you got to do the number. You got to be able to produce and do the number.
It's not unrealistic for certain food truck concepts to be able to produce $400,000+ a year.
Oh yeah, totally believe that.
And you have to have all these traits that I just talked about for that to be an option.
Yes. On
top of like your concept and you know what else you can do. But if I was to give advice to people starting, listen to those things and roll with that.
Cool. Well, I think we might just end that on a note here. Send out the invite. Okay, if you're thinking about getting into the pizza business and want to see this operate, I mean, we've had them we got these units in brick and mortars, and I need to tell the story. That's what I forgot when we took a break there. There's a fella in St. Louis that was actually St. Charles, and he was a barbecue guy, barbecue guy.
His barbecue pizza is pretty good.
I would bet. I would think it would be. And anyway, he found a little old donut shop. I bet it's probably under 1,000 square feet, I would say. Maybe 900 or 800.
Probably. It's not big.
Not big at all. And
the sit-down area is very small.
He was going to use it for a commissary for his food trailer is what he was going to do, and got super cheap lease on it. And he brought this young girl with him over to visit us, and because he had a Cook Shack smoker, and he was wanting to take a look at the pizza oven. So they came and visited you at a luncheon you were doing, and went back home, and he ordered an oven and thought he could put this oven in that right there, and they could open it up as a storefront making some pizzas. So keep the people busy while they're doing his barbecue stuff for his trailer, commissary thing. And really quick, that became a pizza place.
Yeah, I think he said that he's doing like $30,000 a
I think he told me
month in sales.
it was 38,000 he got up to within about a year of being open, is where he was at 38,000 a month in sales. And I was told when I was at the Pizza Expo this last year that the average, mom and pop pizza place is around I think it was 426,000.
Okay.
Is what the sales were. So he was really, really close to the number already.
And he's only been open for maybe 3 years now.
Well, now he is, but this was, a couple of years ago.
Yes, I mean,
when you were there. And what I find very, very interesting is he doesn't tell anybody he's wood-fired pizza. And so I have sent a couple customers by there to see him and talk with him. And he's real offish about visiting with people because he thinks the big secret to his pizza is the oven. That's why he doesn't want anybody to know what he's doing. And I thought, oh, come on, man, you're living on your neighborhood.
It's the secret to his quality.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good quality. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I actually even seen he did a radio show in St. Louis, and I caught it off his Instagram, and him and one of his workers was with him, and it was like a 15-minute spot. On and off, Not once did he mention he was wood-fired pizza. He calls it, I'm going to say a name, but I'm not going to give his first, but it's stone fire pizza is what he calls it. He won't say it's wood-fired. And I thought, man, this is crazy. I mean, usually you want to bring out your artisan fact that you're using wood or something, and being different. But he doesn't want anybody just snooping around to see what his secret is.
I'd be capitalizing on that. We get people asking us all the time, what flavor pellets are you guys burning there? Like once they find out that our pizza ovens run on pellets, people want to know about that stuff. The pellet industry has grown so much to where there are people that are knowledgeable about them just because they use in their backyard every single day.
Right. Pellet cooker stuff is really, that's why we're having Pellet Cooker University.
Yeah.
I want these stories to get out. I want people to hear from operators. I want them to hear, what's going on and why and how things work. And so they have the understanding, that's where we have gotten behind at Cook Shack is how are we going to get this word out there, and hopefully with our social media and again, push that like button. That helps, leave a comment. If you want to come on the podcast, come and you're doing stuff, let us know, get a hold of us. This is why we're trying to do this here, to fill that void and try to help that out and bring out the word of, man, this is the next hottest thing coming. I mean, I preached that back in the 90s when I was the only guy doing it besides Traeger. Okay.
I'll put it this way. Wood-fired pizza is not a new concept.
Right, it is.
Yes. These cooking with pellets will revolutionize the wood-fired pizza industry.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It will. It will. And if you're not doing it, you're going to say, this is BS. If you're not doing it, there's going to be a day you will be doing it.
Yeah. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've had, Pizziolo veterans say that I could hang with them. Dwayne out there in Omaha,
right.
He told me I was good enough to hang with his team. They've been doing it for 28 years.
Right.
And just you need to give this a shot because it's going to change your mind.
Well, come and work with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Get a hold of us. Come and work with you. And we're going to leave it there at that. Thank you. And here again, we're going to bring you some more of this. Let us know what you all want to see. Thanks. Coming to Pellet Cooker University. You've been listening to Pellet Cooker University. Thanks for joining me here at Pellet Cooker University. I'm Fast Eddy. If you liked today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment. It helps us feed the fire, grow the channel, and keep the smoke rolling. And if you're serious about cooking, check out cookshack.com, the leader in high-quality commercial pellet cookers and grills. See you next time.